starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Night Show. Your host Superman in the house, and it is Anzac Day here, I guess, in Australia and New Zealand. And it's where we honor our fallen soldiers and servicemen. So big shout out to all the soldiers that have fought in all the wars, the Great War, World War II, Vietnam, Korea, you name it, wars, and of course a lot of people serve for freedom. Particularly those wars that were about freedom and fighting back communism, things like that. So we do remember them, and lest we forget. So let's hope for the best. And I know many people have turned out to dawn parades and things like that. So a special day there for sure. Now we're going to get into a very good show. PulseChain whale Rackham Rishel's portfolio exposed. No, we're not. I'm just kidding. Explored. And he's let us know a good amount of his tokens that he's been picking up. Obviously, he probably has a much broader portfolio than that, but we're going to be exploring it and going through that. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Now, another thing, of course, along with our team, we've launched X Game Portal, which is probably just the earliest dedicated community to X Game coming up from Firewall. So we got two whales. We got Rackham Rishel, and we got Firewall out there, and we actually just opened up an X Game portal community. As far as I know, it's the first dedicated community, and probably, hopefully, going to be the best of the best. So it's really, really cool. So we want you to get into there. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Let's get into the chat there. So hello to a few people. We've got a couple of people in the house. We've got Frank White. Early. Hey, good to see you, Frank. Always a pleasure. We got Christine in as well. Hey, Christine, big shout out. Hello again. This timing works great for my schedule. So good to be here again. Let's check out what the whale's holding. Absolutely love X-Skins. A nice one, Christine. Appreciate you. And I love your little picture there too. That's really, really cool. Wookie there. Anzac Day, lest we forget. Lest we forget, says Brennan. Absolutely. Big shout out from the Aussies there. So we've got both the Aussies and the Kiwis in the chat there. MBS in the house as well. Another Aussie. Forget what? I forgot, he says. He forgot. We'll talk to you about that after the show. But big shout out to Wookie and MVS. They're both in the Portal X Game Portal team, and big shout out to them. We got also a Good God in the house there. Good morning, King. Hey, big shout out to you. You're everywhere. That's a really key. If you're in a project team, you have to be number one rule. Number one rule you have to do in terms of promoting is consistency. And another one is getting everywhere. Be everywhere at all times. And good God, big shout out to you because you are doing that in the King protocol there, or token, I should say. So big shout out to you guys. Keep up the great work. That's a real a demonstration of what you need to do to get out and about. If people don't know about you, they can't participate, right? They can't participate. All right, so we got Wookie says hit the likes, definitely smash the likes there. We've got a few people over on Rumble too. Nice to see someone in the chat there. We've got Fatty Rady in the house there over on the over on Rumble. If you're on Rumble, get into the chat. I mean, it's something everyone does on Google and on X quite well. But Rumble, you step up. It's great to be a freedom channel, but you guys need to get into the chat there and get involved, and definitely smash the follow, hit the likes, and repost over there. Spread it around to your community because crypto is growing and growing and growing. And it's going to be good for Rumble too, right? Rumble, obviously, freedom platform, also very focused on news and vlogs and blogs and all sorts of stuff. But crypto is coming bigger and bigger, and we're bringing hopefully quality channels, crypto channels to Rumble. And we've been really enjoying it over there. So definitely shout out there. Now, if you're over on X, don't forget to repost the show. I'm going to do that first and foremost, is get the show out there, repost the live show. So let's do that. I'm going to repost it now myself. And I'm going to post it in the chat there. Definitely spread it around. If you're on X right now, just take the moment to share the show on X. And there is the link there. Got to make sure I have my spelling right. So definitely smash that and send it out. So that's it. If you're on X, go and do that. Speak on the development. Good to be. I got the wrong one there. Where am I going there? I'm coming back down to that one. We got the show there. So share show on X. And that is the link there. So in the chat there, and go share it around right now and spread the good word, as we say. Who else is in the house here? We've got quite a few comments. We've got Property Review. Great show. Appreciate it, Property Review. Long-time viewer. Big shout out there. And Craig Pitt is also another long-time viewer as well. Morning all. Lest we forget, indeed. Lest we forget. Susie Q in the house there. Hi, wonderful Superman. ACQ. Great to see you in the house. Hey, it's great to see some of the lovely ladies in the chat as well. Crypto's got a lot of guys in it, but it's always good to have the ladies in there. Big shout out to you guys. Or should I say you ladies? It's good old slang, right? Good old slang. We got Brenton in the house as well. G'day. Good to see you, Brennan. Keep up the great work too. We got Arch as well. Speaking on the developments, good to be online with you. I appreciate that too. Yeah, we're going good. So let's get into it. Yeah, share the channel around. Let's get straight into the show. Before we do that, we're going to go over to some of the posts I did around the big announcement. So let's get into that. So we're going to get into the show here. So this is here on X. Of course, you guys know I'm rebuilding my channel after being taken down, unceremoniously by X with my big account, which is just the way it goes. But this is the portal, and we're going to talk about this. So if you guys are going to join X Game's coming up. It's going to be probably the big viral game on PulseChain, apart from maybe Mafia, probably even more viral because it's going to have 30% referrals. So definitely get that. That's portal. That's the community. We've set up the first dedicated community, and we're also probably going to hopefully have the best content in there. We really are trying to set it up to have everything, all the latest news and updates. We'll get into that in a minute. So if you guys want to join, that is the post. So definitely share the post around too. It's pretty easy to share a post. Just push that retweet button and share that around. But in the post there, we're going to go through it. Before we do that, though, let's get into a bit of a video because that's how we rock and roll here. So let's have a quick look at the video here.
Greetings, Starfighter. You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada.
Yeah.
Get ready.
All right, so that's our recruitment video there. I'll just play it one more time.
Greetings, Starfighter. You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada.
Yeah.
Get ready.
All right, so there's a little clip from the old Last Starfighter from the 80s, but the ship kind of looks similar to the X Game one. So I thought that'd be a pretty good little retro teaser there for the X Game portal, which is hopefully going to be the biggest and baddest X Game community. So you guys have definitely got to join up to that. So let's go through the list there of what we've launched today. And a big shout out to MDS and Wookie, who are also in the same team as me working on this. So we've got a great community. We also got some good mods in the chat as well already to start it off. Now, it's a big announcement, of course. X Game, you have been recruited is the theme of this. And, of course, recruitment is now open for X Game portal. Get in early on our X Game Telegram community now. So if you want to get involved early, we are pretty much the first dedicated community out there. And we're going to hopefully be the best quality there with all the news flows, everything else. You get all the latest automated into that Telegram. So it's going to be pretty awesome. We're also going to have additional videos and other stuff going in there. And who knows what else we'll get there. So definitely join up. Now, we've got the link there to Telegram. So you definitely should get that and join up today. So I'll also post that in the chat as well. And that is the link to join. So I'll just post that. You can join up straight away today. Just hit the button right now and join up the Telegram group, and you'll get in there nice and early. And if you're in the first 100, well, it could be pretty special, right? Could be pretty special. So get in there and join up today for X Game Portal. It's going to be the big game, big viral game. You guys are going to be in nice and early with the best community that's already set up for all the latest and greatest to automatically get in there. Now, why join X Game Portal? Well, of course, this is a game from Firewell. It's been something like 10 years in the making. Now, X Game is going to be not just a crash game, but it's also going to grow into a full-on decentralized crypto casino, and it's going to get a official game license. So it's going to be registered as well, which is pretty rare in crypto. And so that's going to have more and more games. And so you're getting in nice and early for this. We're going to be talking about lots of different elements about this whole X Game ecosystem, and this community is really set up for that. Now, you're going to be able to hang out with other players playing the X Game. At the moment, of course, it's just had its first round testnet. It's going to have its second round testnet coming up. And then, of course, we're going to have the live game pretty shortly after that with the game license, crypto sort of casino license coming out. The other thing is we saw yesterday, we saw SolidX, which is the the parent of this X game, pretty much that had a rebrand. So we've got rebranded there. So they're really stepping forward. They're going to have a massive marketing budget, as we heard on the street. And so this is going to be a big deal on PulseChain and multi-chain probably too. So it's going to be very, very exciting. Now you're going to be out in the good old X Game portal community. You're going to be able to get the latest X Game updates. So it's going to be automated into the chat. There's already automated updates in there, as well as house stats. In other words, how much money's in the house pool, which is pretty exciting. Now, if you do want to own a bit of this X Game, of course, you have to buy the original Solid X token. So it's kind of the play there. You'll be able to also grab the latest X Game news in the chat. So it's going to be there as well. So if you've missed it all and you don't want to scroll everything, you want to hunt it for yourself, you just have to go into this community. You're going to find it all there. It's just going to be in there, one thing after another. So it's really going to be valuable to you to get all the latest and greatest in X Game and all the upgrades, all the new games, etc. Now, you're also going to be able to enjoy epic videos. We're going to be doing video content in there as well. You probably won't get that many other places. We're just going to be giving game tips and a lot of cool info there about the game and cool stuff like that. Then we could have a lot of other stuff coming into the chat as well. So also you're going to be able to share your game experience with other people. So it's a great place to be able to do that. Now on the X Game site, they do have little account there that you can do basic stuff. But in the Telegram, you're going to be able to do so many more dynamic things in there. It's really going to be a rich environment for sharing your game experience, the good and the bad, right? And of course, you're going to be able to talk about your future mad gains too. So if you make really mad gains, you might get a big 20x or something like that on the crash game, and you can come in and gloat about it. Everyone likes to talk a bit about how well they got some of the X's, right? So 10x, I got a 10x, got 100x, so we're going to hear about that too. Now, the game status, as I said, the Solid X rebranded pretty much yesterday, the day before. And, of course, the round 2 game test is coming up. And then the X Game will probably go live, or they're waiting upon the casino license, right? So that's pretty exciting. Now, X Game official there, we've got Solid X. And, of course, we've got Solid Pulse there. That's the parent, right? That's where you want to go. That's the official account. Then, of course, that's Firewell's account there. He's the one that set all this up. It's been like 10-year vision. And, of course, I've also added in Randy Alaski there, who's, Firewell's good friend and often partner up with a lot of stuff. Now, the X Game portal team is myself. It's a Crypto MVS, our promotional lead. As you guys know, we recently set up a promotional team for PulseChain to help small to medium projects get better promoted and to match up quality projects with people. It's something we really felt was missing on PulseChain. PulseChain needs a much more safer environment, much more a better promotional environment with more positivity, and that's why we want to do that. And then we've also got Wookie in the house as well. So Wookie's there also helping with that. In fact, he's the owner of the account. So pretty excited, awesome. Now, this is just the first of many promotions we're going to be doing. You're going to see lots of promotions heading forward into this week. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So very cool. So that is what's taking place at the moment with the old game. So definitely join up today. That's all I can say. Like I say, repost our post X Game portal. And you're going to see that around a lot, actually. So keep your eyes out. And also join up to the Telegram today and share it around. Now, once you get into the Telegram, you can type /link. You just type that into the chat, and it will bring up your own custom invite link. Once you get that, you can share the X Game portal around to your friends. They can all come in, and we're going to build up an epic community there of X Gamers. So it's going to be pretty cool. X Gamers, I just said it. That's how we roll. A big shout out to Firewell for the whole vision. I think it's fantastic. It could truly be the viral game on PulseChain, and a big shout out to, obviously to the rest of the team in the old Solid X, as well as Randy Alaski out there doing some great work for sure. So greetings, Starfighter. Yeah. So if any of you guys have seen the movie The Last Starfighter, we're going to be using that because actually quite a lot of similarities with the Crash game animations, and so we thought it would be a pretty cool way to go, and it's pretty retro too. So we really like that. Brennan says, I love the ladies there. That's very nice, Brennan. What else we got there? Let's get it. We got a couple more comments. We've got Craig Pick says, all good. Yeah, absolutely. The game will be so addictive, says Brennan. I think a lot of people are going to be enjoying it for sure. AKW, hot air rises. It certainly does, especially when you're in space. It is like everywhere. If you've ever watched the International Space Station, it's pretty crazy there too. All right. So let's move on. Let's get into the next part of it. We're going to get into the stock market. So let's do that. So we can see that the S&P 500 has rallied out of the correction. So we had 2 green days, a red day and a green day. this week, and the S&P 500 there is moving as tech flexes its muscles. So that's kind of cool. We know we're truly moving into the next technological age, don't we? And of course, we know that the Trump administration wants to be at the forefront of that, and they have already over $7 trillion in investment committed to the United States, including AI, semiconductors, car companies, minerals of all sorts, and of course, gas, oil. They're doing it all, right? They're doing it all, and we really are getting into that age. We've got robotics, we've got spaceships. I mean, we're on the frontier of Star Trek, basically, aren't we? We're on the kind of like first. What was that original episode they did when they were on the planet and they did the first little was it light speed there? So warp speed, the first, was it warp one or something like that? So we're kind of like that. We've got our Dow Jones up 1.2% at 487 points to 40,093. We got the S&P 500 up 2% at 108 points to 5,500, and then Nasdaq up 2.7% at 460 points to 17,166. US dollar is sitting at 99.32 as well. Now, commodities, let's have a look at that. So we got West Texas at $63, Brent oil at $66. They're both up about 0.5%. We got gold up just over 0.5% there, $20 at $3,370. And we got silver there up 1/3% at 12 cents to $33.62. So everything looking pretty green there, pretty green indeed. And NVIDIA and Amazon have led the tech rally there as well. Trump also said that the US met China this morning, though the president stopped short of elaborating on the topics or of discussion, nor the personnel involved. Obviously, there's a bit of a tit for tat. No one wants to give up here, but of course, China is in the weakest position. The economy is in trouble. There seems to be issues with the military and President Xi. And so there are lots of issues there. The update sowed further confusion on status of China-US trade relations after Beijing denied any suggestion that it was involved with active talks with the administration of the US President Donald Trump over tariffs. Now we do know that they're getting boxed in, the Chinese, regarding deals that are being done. Their deals now are up to over 130 countries now have contacted the United States. So over 130 countries now contacted the United States. So well over 2/3 pretty much, or about 2/3 of the world's countries. And we think that Japan, the third biggest economy, is pretty close to making a deal with America, I should say. And that would put a lot more pressure on China. And we also see that South Korea is coming with its A game. They're also going to be making a deal. They're already getting to technical levels rather than just in principle levels by next week. So you got another big heavy hit economies. South Korea also making deals. The reorder of the world is happening, and China's going to be under more and more pressure as more countries make good deals with the United States, and especially the top 15. The more pressure it puts on China. So that's the play there. At the moment, just a day earlier, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent had stated that there was no unilateral offer from Trump to lower Chinese tariffs. And of course, that's kind of where we are at the moment now. First-time unemployment benefits rose in line with expectations last week, but remain largely range-bound despite ongoing worries over tariff-fueled economic uncertainty. And of course, seasonally adjusted US jobless claims climbed to 222,000 in the week ended April, up from 216,000 there. So a lot more jobless claims in the mix. All right, let's get into the old crypto, shall we? Before we do that, let's see if there's any more comments. We've got Blair in the house. Hey, Blair, good to see you. Hi, all. Big shout out to you. Now, we're going to get into the old crypto because that's how we roll here. That's how we roll. So let's get into it, and bam, let's go. All right, so hi, Blair. We got hi all there from Blair. We got Bitcoin at the moment, $93,676. So still holding pretty strong. Remember, the all-time high was just over 109,000. That was the local high too. We're at $93,666 at the moment, at up 30%. And we've got the Bitcoin dominance at 62.17%. Now, you will see variations of Bitcoin dominance depending on the way the index is set up. Sometimes it could be even 2 percentage points higher. So it could be more like 64%. So just take a note that you might see a little variation depending on where you're looking. Example, TradingView has some with a higher dominance. Ethereum there is at $771. That is down almost 1%. Ethereum has been struggling. And what happened yesterday? Hodgkinson, right? Ada, if you have seen the video, slamming Ethereum, saying, he doesn't even think Ethereum's going to be around 10 years from now because they've made fundamental mistakes with the EVM model and everything else. Boy, what a blow. Is that a fair blow? Of course, his association's early days. it was a pretty big blow. Is he right? Let me know. Obviously, we saw Jack Levin posting that out as well. And of course, he's doing the first fork of Solana with all the bells and whistles on it, although we don't have a deadline for that. He keeps saying 2 more weeks. But people are sick of 2 more weeks. I think, I used to laugh at 2 more weeks, but I think everyone's sick of that now. So let's move on. Let's get either hard dates or no date at all. And if you've got no date, then what's the value of your token? It should be going down in the market, right? You can't price up something if you don't know it's going to be launching. It's going to be an opportunity for somebody, right? Timing. It's not so yes, time in the market, but timing is probably going to be the luck of the Irish, if you know what I mean. So that's kind of where we are. We got Solana at the moment is up 1.3%, $152. XRP is down to 30% at $2.20. BNB is down to 30%, $601. We got Tron down 0.4%, just under 24.5 cents. ADA though, Hodgkinson may have spurred some excitement. Is up 3.8% at 72 cents, and we can see PulseChain there is still pushing higher, up almost 14% at $3.31. So something is going well there for Sue. Up and away, they say. So that's kind of the limit there. Let's get into the rest of the markets, though. And we're going to jump back into the CoinGecko and have a look at the total market cap. So we're still sitting over 3.04 trillion. That's where we are at the moment, but it is down 1.7 on the 24-hour basis. Now, the one thing I'll say about this is still a very small market cap. I mean, we're probably talking close to 9 to 10x from here just to get up to gold's market cap. And as you guys know, BlackRock said that Bitcoin is the new digital gold. So we've got a long way to go, and so we are going to get some hyper rally in Bitcoin. I think like anybody's ever seen before. I really feel it's going to happen very quickly, and I don't think we're too far away from it. Possibly within 2 to 3 months minimum there before we get into it. So. Because we've got the Trump strategy playing out, right? So we had a new little update around tariffs there from Treasury Secretary Besant, and so that's going very bullish. Remember, that's one of the 3 key pillars. Well, it's a subcategory of a pillar, but we got the federal budget to be done. We've got deregulations and regulations to be done, and we've also got the World Trade Order to be reorganized. Those are the 3 main legs of the Trump administration's plan, and that's going to usher in the golden age of America, and it's going to be absolutely crazy good. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and we all see it playing out pretty well. Obviously, China is probably the biggest thorny part of that, but like I say, they're going to get increasingly boxed in, and Trump's going to play these back and forward games psychologically, and China's going to go, we're winning here. Oh wait, we're not so much winning now. It's going to be a bit like that. But behind the scenes, I think they're going to want to make a deal because China's economy is actually pretty vulnerable. We already see some factories closing and other things. We know that GDP is pretty much fake, et cetera, et cetera. So I think there's going to be probably a deal done behind the scenes there. Now, at the moment, we've got the top 10. So we've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, number 2, XRP, number 4. We've got BNB at number 5, Solana, number 6. We've got Dogecoin or Doge there is Doge for the Americans. Dogecoin there is at number 8. We've got Cardano as number 9 there, making the big move, of course, today. And then we've got Tron at number 10. Now, the other thing, of course, in the top 10 out of these, the best performer is Cardano, or ADA there is over the last 24 hours. It's up 3.7%, followed pretty quickly behind by Dogecoin there. Now, after the top 10 for the week, looks like that goes to, Doge again, 16.8. Cardano following pretty quickly at 16.6%. And then we've got Solana and then Ethereum there up 11.7%. So there is your top ones out of the top 10. But let's have a look at the top 100 over the last 24 hours. Well, it looks like artificial superintelligence continues to perform, and this has kept coming up every day. So it might be definitely one for you to check out and consider for your portfolio. Make sure you do your due diligence, of course. We've got PulseChain, of course. We talked about that performing very well, up 14% today, and that is up 57.6% for the week. Woohoo! Now, I'm not sure why these are out of order, but sometimes they do that. Let me make sure I'll redo that again. So we got official Trump down here. My bad. The ordering wasn't working properly. We got official Trump. Now, one of the reasons why official Trump's doing well, it's up 64% at number 1, is that Trump's offered to do a dinner for some of the top holders of Trump. So we've had a big pump in that. It's definitely contributed a big time, 64% there, up to $12.24. So that's been a pretty good bounce there for Trump token. Su chain up 57%. We've got Stacks chain is up almost 50% as well for the last week. So there are some winners in the top 100 that can make some pretty solid gains. We've got Immutable there at number 4, up 45%, and BitTorrent Tau up 44.7. And then, of course, we got some of the popular ones that we're talking about. Artificial Super Intelligent up 43, and of course that stinky toilet one, Fartcoin, is up to 39% as well. So those are some of your leaders there, ticking away on CoinGecko. These are kind of the ones you might consider blue chips in the top 100. Obviously, there's various risks amongst those. And of course, if you want to go a bit more wider, you could go to like maybe top 200-300, and then past that, you really got to pick off the winners. Really past that, probably generally. Now, in terms of top gainers, we've got Ardor up 41. It says, I don't know why these make the list here, but they do. Cortex as well, and Snaps on the trending. We've got Su, Initia, and Zora there on the trending. Now, that is pretty much it for our crypto, but let's go into Bitcoin because we've got some big news coming. And here is our market here. We've avoided a death cross, so hip, hip, hooray for that. I think we can all be pretty happy about that. Yeah, we can. So we got Bitcoin there avoiding a death cross and keeping on the golden cross. That is bullish, and there's a big separation at the moment. It is about $1,200 separation there now, so that's kind of cool. And we got exactly what the doctor ordered. We had a sick patient. We got the big rally here, and we're back up at $93,900, almost $94,000, up and away. Right now, you guys know I've got highlighted here. We had the tariffs. Tariffs caused some volatility. We had a 90-day extension, and of course we talked about having like 50, 60 countries, then 90 countries. Now there's 130 countries now in the lineup for doing deals, and so we're expecting to get probably the first 15, the top economies in the world, Japan, South Korea, and others like that, to make deals. So they seem to be progressing pretty well. I think that's going to take us to a deadline of about the 4th of July, and that Trump wants to get that three-legged stool strategy in place, dealing with the federal budget, the Doge, they're getting the costs down, and of course the taxes getting helping to grow the economy, lower tax take, but increased tax take through growth, and then of course getting to a balanced budget is the plan there. And then if they've got other mechanisms, potentially asset-based mechanisms, to try and offset the big debt that the US has got at $37 trillion, get rid of the $2 trillion deficit, and so on. So that's kind of where they're solving that first leg. Second leg, deregulation, which they've really started working on, and probably recently in the last week, although laid the foundations earlier. That's going to go run through all of this year, actually, past the 4th of July. And of course, we know that crypto is going to be a big deal later in the year, around August, September. So crypto is going to get a lot of cool regulation there. And then, of course, we're going to be on the third leg. We're getting the World Trade Order reorganized. And of course, that $1.2 trillion trade deficit dealt with. So it's going to be squeezed down with some of these good deals that we're expecting over the next couple of months. So, or 2.5 months at least. So this is kind of where we're heading. So we're probably going to get a lot of good news flows from these deals that get done. They become in principle deals, then they move to technical deals, and then you get a write-up document and so on. So that's kind of what we're expecting there. And we'll probably start getting some as early, what are we now on the 25th? So we could start getting some, at the end of the first week of May, maybe May the 7th, which is interesting enough. Around the same time, Ethereum is doing its EIP upgrade, right? So that's going to be pretty interesting. We could get some good trade deals, could get some good bullish news around Ethereum there with the EIP upgrades, even if they're not generally, I think they're going to be good technically for the chain, but maybe not so good for the value of the chain. So yeah, that's kind of where we are at the moment, and then continue to get good trade deal news out of there. Obviously, China is going to be the interesting one as they try to squeeze that in. The more deals they get coming out, the bigger the squeeze is, and they've got other methods as well. But I do think China will probably want to come to the page there. And then by the time you get the 4th of July, you've got those three legs of the strategy in place. And then you've got just non-stop investment coming into the US economy, over $7 trillion. And it's this game on. The golden age of America happens. People in America will suddenly see buildings start being made, infrastructure that's been sitting idle, because America's infrastructure is pretty worn down, even with the infrastructure bill they did under the Biden era. And so there's still a lot of work to be done. And of course, they're going to build out bases, ships, everything else. The thing is, the very important thing is that America is now moved towards being almost a slave state or a vassal state to China, because China's taken a lot of the strategic metals and rare earths, and they've also taken a lot of the manufacturing, right? So they've got a lot of that. So that leaves America incredibly vulnerable. So if Trump didn't do what he did now, America would be, it would seem weird, but America would become dependent on China, and so this is a pivotal moment in history, and people are going to talk about it in history books. 50 years from now, it's going to be pretty big deal. All right, so that's kind of where we are at the moment. Let's jump over to Coinbase, because we've got some news there. Coinbase has joined forces with PayPal to supercharge crypto payments, so that's pretty big. Now, we want mass adoption. Obviously, we're in the DeFi because that's the real crypto, right? We all know. But it's a necessary evil as a transition from TradeFi through CFI into DeFi. And of course, we've got Coinbase joins forces with PayPal to supercharge crypto payments. This is kind of good, although they're kind of the evil centralized stuff. You guys know what these guys are like. I mean, they're like banks. Banks are basically fascist organizations, aren't they? I mean, let's be serious there. They rob from the poor and give to the rich. I mean, that's basically what they do. And they extract profits, and they're rude. They're very rude, right? So that's why we love DeFi, because DeFi is, you're your own bank. You're your own bank, right? But this is a stepping stone, and it's going to create a big deal there. So that was kind of cool. Coinbase and PayPal will not only enable simplified customer access to stable coins, but also make it easier than ever for millions of PayPal customers to bring their finances on chain. So there we go. It really is more mass adoption for crypto. If you didn't think already, Donald Trump's strategic Bitcoin reserve and the altcoin stockpile was good enough, now you've also got some of the big agencies like Coinbase and the TradeFi stuff like PayPal, they're coming into the mix. So it is pretty a big deal. Millions of people are coming, and it's exciting. It's exciting. You guys are all so early too. We're all early. SEC also postpones decisions on several crypto ETF filings after Paul Atkins assumes leadership of the SEC. We covered that yesterday. So very exciting there. The agency shifted its decision to June the 10th and the 11th. And of course, this is a little bit of delay, but it's all going to come right there. And we've got a number of ETFs. Polkadot Trust is coming with the ETF. Bitwise, of course, with their Bitcoin one, Ethereum, and we've got Canary Capital submission as well on Hedera there coming as well. So it looks like those have been delayed to 10th and 11th respectively. The commission finds it appropriate to designate a longer period within which take action on the proposed rule change, so that it has sufficient time to consider the proposed rule change and the issues raised therein. So that's all coming up there as well. So we're looking forward to more ETFs coming in the mix. I'm not sure where I got there, but we got get out of this one. I got add here. All right, so let's get scrolled. Oh man, this is a messy site. We also had what's this one here? We also had something else here. Trying to get the news item here. Yeah, can't find that here. It's we'll just have to bypass that because that website was just dreadful. All right, so let's move on to PulseChain. Before we do that, though, let's catch up on the chat there, and don't forget, if you're around here, don't forget to share the channel around. We've got the show here. Definitely get on X. Actually, this one here. Get onto X and share the channel around. The other thing, of course, is if you haven't joined Portal, if you're looking forward to X game, it's going to be start off with the Crash game, which is already in testnet live. And then you can also go into, it's going to have many other games. It's going to be a full decentralized crypto casino with a actual casino license. That's what they're waiting upon. That's probably within a month away, maybe weeks away. I think they applied for that about like 2 months ago. So that technically takes 2 or 3 months. So that could be any day. And that's from Firewall. So it's pretty cool. Now we've got we've got the X-Day portal. Definitely share that around that post and get more people involved. We've set up hopefully the first dedicated community and hopefully the best community. And of course, everyone's going to be able to play the games and be in the community and enjoy their times there. And that is the link to join up today. The other one there, as Brennan says, greetings Starfighter. Yeah, for X game. And that's the link. If you want to join up straight away, that's the link there as well. So hit that link. You'll join our Telegram. It's X Game Portal, and we'll welcome you there. All right, so that's kind of cool. Let's see who else has got in the chat here as well. We got Coin Goblin and House with the Sparta. Sparta set up there. Yeah, Sparta's doing pretty well there. That's from HexOG Wendy's for Tendies. So big shout out to him out there. We got Diamond Hand in the house there. Woo! Get excited. I love these guys. And we've got some great people in the chat today. What else there? We got Brendan says, is your the biggest holder of fart token? Do you get a free bidet? As is Brendan. I don't know, man. I don't know. I do not know. I don't even want to answer that question. But that's probably worthy. That's probably worthy of a magical twinkle. It's probably worthy. There we go. You got it. It came. You did it. All right. Yo, friends. Benny Blanco in the house from the Bronx. How's Jenny? How's Jenny going, Benny? How's Jenny going? She's doing pretty well. Well, actually, her social life's pretty crap, but she's certainly been successful. We got Hexgrad in the house there. Again, good to see Hexgrad. Big shout out. A busy moving RL saying what's up, a long time no see. Yeah, Benny, for sure. Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Big shout out there. All right, so if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe on Rumble or follow on Rumble, follow on X, and definitely subscribe on YouTube. A big shout out there. And yeah, definitely get into it. And if you haven't got into our Telegram, all the links to Discord and Telegram in the video description. And of course, you can join up to our latest community X game portal because that game and that casino is going to be absolutely amazing as well. So get on that. All right, let's without further ado, let's get into PulseChain results. And then we're going to get into the main event, which is Rackham Rishel, the big PulseChain whale. And we're going to be exploring his portfolio, at least a big chunk of it as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, get excited for sure. Get excited. All right, so we've got day 714 since PulseChain launched. PulseChain launched back on the 13th of May, 2023. It was a full system date fork copy of Ethereum on the 10th of May, so it was quite a big deal. And it's now 714 days since then. Just only, what's the 31st of May, not long after it launched, the SEC decided to slap a big law case. And of course, that caused a lot of trauma and shadow over the chain, despite the fact that it's decentralized. But you know how markets work and people's expectations. And so we only just got rid of that. Richard Hart defeated the SEC for good back on the 21st, a couple of days ago. And man, really one of the rare victories you ever get against the SEC. And it was a slam dunk from Richard Hart and his lawyers' teams. So pretty cool. Now the chain is basically free to pump. It's free to pump. Now, sometimes we don't always get the pump straight away, right? It's kind of counterintuitive. You think, oh man, we're free to pump. And we got a little pump on the day. We're like 10 to 15%. But then it's been pretty lackluster since then, the last 2 days, for example. But that's just sometimes how it happens. And it just like lulls people into a false sense of security. And then suddenly it starts running away later on. You're going, what the heck? What the heck? Yeah, so just remember that DCA while you can into these sweet deals here. We got Pulse at the moment, quadruple 0339, down 4.5%. 34% of the mean sacrifice price. We got PulseX at quadruple 0278, down 5.4% at the moment. That's sitting at 28% of the mean sacrifice price. So really good entries right now on PulseChain. The buy and burn is sitting at 1,389 billion. PulseX has been bought up and burned now. We're at 7.03% of the public supply. That includes the OA sacrifice wallets. Pretty cool. We got the incentive token there, $1.49. That is down 7.1%. And that has had a really good rally lately. So that is one that actually did perform very well. We were down at about $1.16 or so, and now we got it way up at $1.60 or so. So that has actually performed pretty well since the SEC victory percentage-wise. So being a top performer there. The supply, around 55 million tokens or so. Remember, the emissions for the farm have been cut by 20x, so only about 5% what they used to be, and it's now at 0.03 ink per second, which is about 2,600 ink per day. So very, very low inflation now. Obviously, a lot of liquidity left the pools, and now it is thin liquidity, so we can pump up very fast, especially with the V2 pools, which are X times Y equal K. So we go up at a square very, very fast. So that's what I'm saying. Once we get on the way up, it's like what we've been on the way down, and we know what that's like. So on the way up, it's like the opposite, and it goes pretty fast, and people are like jumping over each other to pay more. They could buy it now, but they don't. They're like nervous. And then but when it does run, they go, oh, damn it, I should have bought. It's just that happens. It happens. You listen, you watch the social media when it happens. It's going to be pretty much like that. So we got Hex at the moment is at 0.7 of a penny, down 6%. We got eHex, which has had a really good run, is at 24 hundredths of pennies, holding up pretty well. We got combined price EX at PX at just under 1 penny at 95 hundredths of a cent. Now, the one thing I'll say about that with EHEX, we know that BankX is still got about like 180 million or so, 185 million tokens. Apparently, they bridged over about 100 million over to PulseChain. Obviously, people looking for them to dump. They had about 700 million or so. That was from the Hex guy whale, another whale out there. We don't know why he did that, but maybe just an error of judgment. Who knows? But this is the way it goes. And yeah. So that was another failed, BankX failed stablecoin concept. So just the way it goes. Now, the other one, what we were going to say about that is that we've got Dipcatcher out there with FlexHex, which is a sort of layer 2 solution on Ethereum. That's going to benefit eHex. Of course, eHex is going to be used as the main coin for that. and that's going to be an innovation hub. So I think that's a pretty good use case, and I'm a big supporter of Dipcatcher's work. And so I'm excited about that. Anything that adds kind of value that will also, help take stuff on Ethereum that may not have moved to PulseChain, go into that system. So that could be pretty cool too. And he seemed to have some interest there from ETH people. So that's kind of cool. Now that is really where we are there. Let's go into the gas prices quickly as we wrap up PulseChain updates. 3.5 million beats are not bad, pretty good at the moment. 4 cents for a PulseX swap. We've got the old validators. They're ticking up slowly, aren't they? 49,454. Hopefully we're getting better quality validators too. In other words, validators that are up, running all the time, and not falling over, because it's quite, some of these validators are in quite large batches of validators with large people running those. But at the moment, you can pick up 32 million Pulse and be a validator yourself in about 10 to 12% yield, or you can go into some more exotic protocols who are validating on your behalf and apparently up to 60% and stuff like that. I'm thinking of like Validator X and other products there from Haunted and places like that. The bridge at the moment is the health line. There's the health line check, and we're looking pretty solid. 87.2 million, so that's pretty cool. Pretty similar to yesterday. I'm just trying to remember yesterday's number. I can't remember if it was 88 or was it 86. I think I'm at 86 and a half. So I think we're possibly up slightly or around the same. So that's kind of where we are there on the old bridge. So not too bad. Let's hopefully we'll head up to back to 100 million and more and very, very soon. So it doesn't take much. Doesn't take much at all. 10, 12% gain across the board. We're starting to get there. Or maybe 50% gain. Starting to get there. So that's kind of where we are at the moment on that. But before we get into the PulseChain stuff, I wanted to bring in the overall numbers before we get into Rackham Rishel and to cover his stuff there. Let me see here. Bam, bam, bam. Probably after the live stream, I will probably put a timestamp so people can jump straight to the Rackham Rishel stuff for the big whale. But we see we got $20.1 million in volume today, so pretty low day in volume. And we've got 393,000 transactions at the moment. So we've got a new token called Secret Conspiracy that's been up for 12 hours. That's up 97%. We've got Trump tokens, the pump tires there, up 68%. RSI oversold, been around for 2 months. That's pump tires from the looks of it too. And that is up 52%. Pumpy is up as well. This launched like yesterday. And of course, that's up 49% there as well. Pump tires mascot, they call it. And then we've got Trump as well. Obviously, that is already up. We've got Hex as well, a pump tires version of Hex. We got that. So we've got eHex on Ethereum. We've got pHex on PulseChain. And then we've got pump tires Hex as well. So that's up 16.7%. We got dye pump tires is up as well. So we got good dye, fork dye, pump tires, and pump dye. And I think there's one other dye. I can't remember now, but we're up 15% on that. We got Bitcoin as well, up as well. So pump tires is dominating. We saw yesterday, was it printer tires? And the day before, last 2 days, printer tokens were dominating. And today we're seeing pump tires dominating. There we go. We got the ebbs and flows in the categories. Up 11% there as well. Hey, here's your printers token, Beast. Beast is at $4.92. That's up 8%. And then we've got the old Atropa there from James Maria is up as well, 7.7%. Apparently, he is shoring up the system with the stable coins. So we've got 2 different ecosystems running, right? We've got this Atropa and the 3 fork stables, PDAI, PUSDC, and PUSD Tether, right? And USD Tether is backed up with the old Treasury and with PDAI with the old Atropa. And then we've got little USDC. Need some love. And then we've got, then on the other hand, we got this XUSD from the good old Katie and the others who, slam closed the maker contract and trounced the PDAI price. Did a lot of burning. I think almost 10%, if not 10%, of XUSD has now been burned since the PDAI event. The flash crash there that Katie's team caused there. So some big drama on the chain. That's kind of where we are at 8% on that one. Now, the other one, of course, is Sparta. We had someone in the chat there talking about Sparta. Sparta, of course, basically you buy Sparta, it got some taxes, and then, of course, it burns some Sparta, and then it buys Hex with it, so it's bullish for Hex, and then it puts Hex in the treasury, and then later on, maybe Hex goes on a run, and then it goes and burns more Sparta, so it's a way of pushing that price up as well. Kind of a win-win there. We got Pepe as well, another pump tires up 4%, and pump tires itself, the main one there, and we're going to talk about that with Rackham Rishel as well. That's up 3% as well. And then we've got Crow. It's up as well, 2.7%. That looks like the fork version. We got Cord. This is another team that's out and about amongst the community, and that's up 2.5% there as well. It's been around for 3 months. And then finally, we're going to wrap up here with X Game. Of course, you guys know we just launched X Game Portal, and that is there as well. So you can actually buy X game is the pump tires, and this is the one when Firewell launched. He already has solid X OG token, and then he has 3 pump tires. One is solid X, so he's got a pump tires version of solid X. He's also got an X game, which is this one here, which is the kind of the pump tires version, and then he also has Firewell token, which is kind of his personal brand. And so he's got those 3 tokens. Now he minted out about 82% of the X game and the solid X token on pump tires, but he only minted out about 55% of the Firewell one. So that one is actually more ownable by the community compared to the other 2. So it's a bit of a background for those. And so, yeah, X Game there is kind of the brand token for X Game, which is going to be this big decentralized crypto casino on the chain. Of course, its first game is the space game Crash. Of course, you get how many X can you get before you can take your profits and get Rex? It's going to be, it's one of the most popular games on Betfury and other crypto casinos out there, which are all centralized, blockchain but centralized. So that's kind of the play at the moment. So some nice moves there at number 19. All right, so that's kind of lead us in pretty well into Rackham Rishel. Before we get to that, though, the main event, let's see what other comments we've got here as well. We've got about 120 people watching at the moment, so big shout out to all of you. Appreciate your support. And of course, don't forget that hit the smash the follow button, hit the subscribe button, and get into some of this activity. We are really excited about PulseChain. We're excited about crypto generally. And of course, we're excited about where Trump is going to take us into the golden age. We are at the right place at the right time. You can't ask for better than that. We could be back in 2008 with the great recession there, but we're not. We're here on the precipice of greatness, and so it's going to be pretty cool. All right, let's see who else has jumped in here. We've got Excavator. Hey, gang. We've got Brennan as well. Woohoo! Excited. And Moneybags says Pumpy is looking like a good buy. Crypto Jack's in the house. Hey, Crypto Jack's, good to see you. It's been a little while. I'm bullish on what's that? Let me see. They got the little icon. I've just forgotten it off the top of my head. Remember? No, it's remember. I can't remember which one that was. I think it's remember. Let me know. I might have forgotten. I know the emblem. I just can't think of it. Wookie was late. Had to buy some Fartcoin. Oh, nice one there, Wookie. We got Crypto Jack says Incognito. Yeah, it's another popular one. Thank you very much for that. That's the sign. I just forgot it for a moment. And we got Onizuka as well. Big shout out. Have you looked at a DTO? 76% is burn. That's from Mr. Onizuka. Now, I've got a big shout out to Mr. Onizuka because he is so good at the graphical artwork. Him and Next are the 2 go-tos on Telegram, in my opinion. So big shout out for that. And he's got some good advice there. Runs his own project as well, which we're going to be talking more about hopefully in the future. Brendan's in the house there. Tether froze 30 million yesterday and blacklisted a further 15 and 25 million. That's not decentralized 100%. And that's why we love PulseChain. We want to be decentralized world for sure. Big shout out for that insight there. And who knows what Wiki is saying? WTJ. I don't know. Is that some short acronym? We don't know. We never know. Let's get into it. Now, what else was going to say? I've got a little video here before we get into Rackham Rishel. Do you guys want to hear it? Do you guys want to see it? Do you guys want to share it? I thought it was pretty damn good. Should we do it? Let's do it. Let's check this stuff out. And before we do that, you guys are going to love this. Now, I got to remember who did it, but it's pretty funny. And so this is from Richard Hart. So you guys know Richard Hart won the SEC case. Slam dunk there with some of the best lawyers, some of the Elon Musk lawyers in his team. And it was a slaughter. It was a slaughter, wasn't it? And of course, pretty righteous. Now, we also had a number of news sites report on that, some of the big ones with millions of followers. And I think most of them did a reasonable job of it. It was pretty epic. So this is from Richard Hart. This is a special thing. I'm just dialing in Richard. Richard, are you ready to talk? When will Richard stream? When will he stream? Come on. All right. Well, we're going to hear from him right now, hopefully, if I do it right. All right. So let's hear from Richard Hart. Let's go, folks. And boom.
What's up, bitches? Richard here, a.k.a. Most Wanted, a.k.a. Most Loved, a.k.a. Sack Daddy. If you happen to not live on planet Earth, you may have not heard the latest. I fucking beat the SEC case. I want to say thank you to my supporters for never doubting me. Adding to that, I want to send a clear message to anyone who did doubt me. You will not be spared.
All right, so that was from Richard Hart. So that was pretty epic. That was pretty epic. So I had to play that today, and I'll probably play it one more time because it's so damn good. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Lol, says Brennan. Yeah, absolutely lol. Now, AI or whatever they're using for this, it's just trippy now, isn't it? Getting very trippy. The only things the way you can find out stuff is whether something has like 6 fingers or 7 fingers or something. It's normally realize it looks very realistic, but then you look and the guy's got like 6 fingers or something. But this time it's like a cartoon, so it's a bit not so problematic. So that was pretty cool from Richard. Let's play it one more time, shall we? Shall we do it? Let's see. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. All right, let's play. Let's play one more time.
What's up, bitches? Richard here, aka Most Wanted, aka Most Loved, aka Sack Daddy. If you happen to not live on planet Earth, you may have not heard the latest. I fucking beat the SEC case. I want to say thank you to my supporters for never doubting me. Adding to that, I want to send a clear message to anyone who did doubt me. You will not be spared.
All right, so that looks like that was from Pulse TV show, they call themselves, and they got a ticker apparently, PTV. So you can probably go and check them out on that Pulse TV show, and that looks like they're on X there. So I just pulled that video. It was too hilarious, and that was funny. So well done to the team for that. All right, pretty hilarious stuff. Let's go. Very nice. Very nice. Let's get into the main stuff. Let's talk about Rackham Rishel. Now, for many of you who don't know, Rackham Rishel was part of a consortium there that was the top PulseChain sacrificer, top PulseX sacrificer. So it was really the heavyweight whale in the house. Obviously, he's had a few things to deal with, as we all do in personal lives. But he is back better and better than ever. Now, his front man is Steve Hitson. And what I mean by front man, he's kind of is an investment analyst and a portfolio advisor. And so he's also, Rackham works with other big venture capitalists and, big whales out there as well. They kind of work as a team. So normally they'll participate often with each other in the same kind of projects. So, this is where we are. So he says, anyone want to recommend to Steve Hitson, his front man, and I, what we are purchasing next? He wants to know. And of course, thanks to many of your recommendations, we have continued to accumulate the following tokens. So this is not his exclusive, like all his full portfolio, but this is some of the ones he's been accumulating. So we got XUSD, we got Vibe. So that's all part of the same project there with Katie. Remember the one that shut down PDI and did all the PDI dump and all that? That's part of that. Now they got this, volatile process where they're going to slowly ratchet up the price towards $1. They could go higher and higher, but after $1 they pay out all these benefits, so it's probably going to help keep a cap on that. And of course he's become the number one holder of XUSD and pretty much I think the number one holder of Vibes now too, so he is now number one on those. Now, he also obviously holds Richard Hart stuff, Inc., Hex, Pulse, and PulseX. He's talked about being accumulating tokens over the last year, despite going through personal challenges and stuff like that. Now, he's also been apparently picking up Richard Hart's pump tires. Now, we know that not only did Richard lower the inflation on incentive token and Hex, but he also, with the OA sacrifice wallets, whoever did it, magical, more magic happening. That's true. That's true. And we also have him buying pump tokens, which is also another RH product, right? And then, of course, he's picked up recently UFO and PGC. Now, you guys know I consider PGC and UFO one of the best investment vehicles on PulseChain. I think it's kind of a no-brainer. They have some very good influencer support as well with, I think, Prairie Banana and people like that. They do top-notch stuff around strategy, tactics, how to best to get the most out of it. And it's been one of the best performing protocols, investment vehicles on PulseChain, the first DAO token really to really kick it off. And of course, that's led on into evolution once we started moving into web LPing and imbalancing and all these other different techniques on the PulseChain. We've also seen an evolution of PDC into these printer tokens from OG WebChef and other stuff like that. So it's been pretty fundamental there, and I think it's going to probably be one of the best leverage plays on top of Richard Hart coins in the future. Now, he says, where can Steve and I continue to support the PulseChain ecosystem? Feel free to join us in the Rackham Rishel Telegram channel. Now, he's set up his own Telegram channel. You guys remember, I think it was over a year ago, he bought like $25,000 worth of video equipment. He was going to stream. I don't know if he's going to bring that back, but I've definitely asked him to get on the channel. And so we'll stream Rackham Rishel because I want to hear his perspectives about things. Yeah, so it won't be about my perspectives because I talk every day on the channel, but it'll be about his perspectives on PulseChain, about crypto, and whatever else he likes to talk about. So hopefully we'll get him on, and it would be a great honor to get him on in the house here. Now, this is kind of the play. It's pretty exciting. Now, I posted this out to many of the teams that we've been interacting with lately, and hopefully they've taken the opportunity, and I'm sure in most cases they would have to, present their project and token in front of Rackham and Rishel, because you don't often get these opportunities with the big whale. So let's have a look at some of these things here to see how they are actually doing. We've got a couple more comments in the house as well. Duan says, wow, that sounds really realistic. I know, on the old Richard Hart. Yeah, no, it's pretty scary stuff. We'll play it again on the way out. That's pretty much it. Hey, look, we've got about 150 people watching at the moment. So if you're liking it, smash the subscribe button, hit the follow button, and of course, definitely share the channel around. That's the biggest help as well. I hope RH comes back exactly like that, says Don. That'd be funny, wouldn't it? I'm back. I'm live. I'm streaming, and it's back like that. That'd be funny. All right, so let's get into it. We've got his portfolio. So I've mapped it out, and here it is. This is the one he's disclosed. Obviously, he's got other tokens, but at the moment, you can kind of see where they're at the moment. In fact, we had some. Let me just make sure I'm on the right one here. Just making sure you're Rackham Rishel. And obviously, PulseChain's on a bit of a down day today. So they're all a little bit off the mark, but we have PulseX, and Inc. They are down. They're the best performers at the moment. We had Pump Ties. Now, Pump Ties was actually in the green before the live stream, but it's just under 5.8% at the moment. And then we've got obviously UXUSD, which he's the number one holder of. That's down 10% at the moment. And we got PDC obviously down 8.5% there as well. I'm not sure what's wrong with these filters. I click it once and then it's just not ranking properly. And then I click it twice there. Is it now look good? I think it looks good now. So we've got UFO, Pulse, Pump Tires, 9-inch. Now, 9-inch is not on his list, if you notice. 9-inch is not on his list. But a little birdie told me, little Tweety bird, that he said he's got quite a bit of 9-inch there. And he's got quite a bit of BBC as well in the house there. Now, remember, 9-inch is the third biggest DEX on PulseChain. It might end up being the second one. However, we are backing the stablecoin, the algorithmic stablecoin, PUSD ALGO. Now, there are a lot of speculative stablecoins, right? So we've got XUSD here, right? That's a speculative stablecoin. We've got PDI, PUSDC, PSD Tether. These are all speculative stablecoins, right? They're not at $1. They're not pegged at $1. Then we have ones that are pegged at $1, right? These are the four liquidity forks that we have. We've got Liquid Loans, we've got Power Cities, we've got Fast Abduls. These are the tokens that we've got liquidity forks, and we have Coast, the fiat back one, right? But we don't have actually any true algorithmic stablecoin, and that will be PUSD ALGO. So we're backing that for the win. We think that's the flagship project. The only thing I was going to say about that, we're waiting for the Signum Oracle, and which is waiting for the Tetra to launch. They're going to be within about 2 days from each other. And I know Stu and that team is working feverishly to get that to market. So we'll probably hopefully get that very, very soon. And the other one is that PUSD ALGO, we'll get an update about that afterwards. So I'm very excited about that. That will actually be pegged pretty much from day one, if not day two. There'll be a little bit of volatility just at the beginning as the stability miners kick in. And that is a new method of giving support to these tokens. And that's also going to have a V3 DEX, right? So I think PUSD ALGO is going to be very exciting, potentially our first stablecoin. And if it operates as well as it did on the live blockchain as a test, then, man, we are looking for something very successful like Liquidity was, which has been forked over to all these other EVM chains, right? And we could see that as the first true DeFi algorithmic stablecoin, PUSD ALGO. Now, we saw someone try to scam that off with a pump or some rubbishy scam about a week ago. But, this is going to be coming, and very excited. Now, the only thing I would say is that it needs to come soon. It can't take, a year, 2 years. It needs to really be brought to market. And we know that Jacob has got a development team in place now, and he hired that some time back. And so he looks like he's going to take it over to market. And I know he is very excited about PUSD ALGO, so we're looking forward to that. So that is kind of coming up there at the moment. Now, I'm very excited about the XUSD option because I think it's pretty interesting. It's got a lot of incentives in it. It's got this Viber Pass as well. And, of course, that can be pretty lucrative for people that get involved with that. And we know that the number one holder of that is Rackham Rishel. So we know that he's pretty keen on that. Now, the other question you asked out, do you follow the smart money? Do you follow, is the whale money the smart money? Is that who you follow? Is this one strategy? Like Hillary Clinton, right? Or was it Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, there's a whole index that people follow her stocks, right, back in the day, because she always seemed to get the right stocks as they pass new bills, right? So follow Nancy Pelosi's stocks. Do you follow Rackham Rachel's selections? At least the ones we know about. So that's kind of the idea here. And you're going to, markets move up and down, so it's not always going to be green candles, but it's kind of the play. So this is some of the performances at the moment. And going through this list, it's hard to fault the list, right? Hard to fault the list. The only thing I would say is 9-inch and that, there's probably the weaker ones, but they may be very strong, because we know that once we get on a bull market, what happens to DEXs? They get all the volume. When they get all the volume, they get all the fees. When they get all the fees, the token goes up. When the tokens goes up, the yield farms incentives value goes up. And so they all start spiraling on the way back up, right? That's kind of the idea. As long as they've got decent volume in the bear market, they're likely to take off in the bull market for PulseChain, right? So that's kind of the ideas there. So that would include 9mm as well. Probably some of the famous products as well that are also out there that are not showing up on Dex Screener. You got Fiat and Fatty and Famous, and what's the other one? The fourth one, Fiat, Famous, and Fatty, and just forget. It just skips my mind for the moment. But you got 4 products out there for them. So all kind of booms. So that's kind of where we're at the moment now. XUSD is going to be pretty interesting because it's going to move around a lot, plus or minus. People get incentives for buying and selling with these little credit points with vibes. And so, yeah, this is going to be pretty interesting. Now, I did have a big pump here with the old PDI. This is back on the 16th. That's going to be pretty interesting. And here's number one holder on that now. So pretty exciting there. That is down 10% today, but it's going to move around. When it goes down, it gives people chances to buy higher. But they're anticipating this running towards $1, right? So this is where Katie and the team are trying to go to. Let's look at the weekly candle. This is the weekly candle for XUSD. And we can see that pumping quite strongly last week on that PDI move. And, of course, their burn's gone through the roof with that event. I don't know what they started at. They're maybe 2 or 3%. They're now about 10% in a week. So that's pretty exciting. You can get a burn like that. Now, people can burn tokens in the system, and so that's where we're getting to it. And they do have a Telegram group that updates the burn, so very excited about that. And they've got more plans, right? I think eventually the DAO is supposed to be probably handed over to the DAO in about August, I think it was, if I remember rightly. So they are planning for that, the whole team. Now, the other thing, of course, with XUSD, there are vibes, and, of course, there are good vibes and bad vibes. I know you decide. But that's at 00017, and that's ticking off there too pretty well. There's on the weekly candles, by the way. We look at the daily. That's the daily chart there as well, looking pretty similar to the old XUSD. Ticking away in the X system, which is pretty cool. Now, we'll go to the website quickly. Just have a look at this. I'm not going to get too deep dive. It's quite a more technical protocol than most others. And I think the documentation is very fulsome, but I think it could be explained a lot better. So it's probably my own feedback to the team there. So, yeah, we've got Vibe Pass at the moment. So people can provide LP staking. They get benefits from doing that in the ecosystem. Ideally, you want to get a Vibe Pass if you can. But, of course, that's a bit of mucho grandes to get that, depending on how big you are in the crypto. And, of course, you want to get your points down, right? You've got to get your Vibe points there. So it's kind of cool. It's a big play there. And I love this pass. Who else have we seen launch this idea of a pass? Well, we've seen Dipcatcher, right, with FlexHex there over Ethereum, have the little animated pass as well. I actually really like this idea, and I like the idea of incentives. I think that's a very clever way. Obviously, you've got to control the LPs and things like that, but this could be pretty interesting. So we're going to enjoy the ride there for that. So that is kind of with a little bit of the XDSD vibes. Now, obviously, we're Richard Hart tokens. I'm not going to talk about those because you guys know about all those. The only thing I would say is we'll go into PulseX quickly. And presumably, Rackham's got a bigger position in PulseX. That'd be interesting. Now, obviously, he's a big sacrifice whale, but this would be interesting to see where he's got here. And why is it interesting? Because of the ratio to Pulse, right? The PulseX ratio. Now, it's come down a bit now, obviously, but we've got PulseX Pulse. And let me just go to the daily here. So that's that uptrend, right? Let me go to the weekly because we've got so many days on this thing now. What, 714 did I say? So that is the ratio. So which would make you more money? PulseX, right? Because it's going up against Pulse. So that's pretty awesome. Also got to 1-to-1 as well back here in March. And so that's very exciting to see where that goes. That trend continues. It should continue, right? Because of the buy and burn and all the volumes as we go up. That should benefit at a greater pace than Pulse. So it'd be pretty interesting. And also Pulse is the exit, right? So Yeah, pretty interesting stuff there. And so I presume he's got more, holding more of that. That'd be a kind of a logical thing, I would argue, but we shall see. And of course, you've got a lot of it. Do you care? Do you care if you got so much of it? He's too big to sell like really easy, right? The liquid versus liquidity. So he has to be a long-term player, and he's said that publicly. He's committed to be a long-term player, and obviously he's getting involved across the board. What they do is they get into LP pools, they earn income, right? That's how they work it. They have a big capital base, but they just, instead of selling that down and wrecking everything, they just make it that it just turns over income. So the LP LP pools into farms and stuff like that. This is the whale strategy, right? So that's kind of the play. What else we got here? We've got obviously PDC and UFO. I think those are pretty good investment vehicles. We've seen them outperform very, very well. Let's have a look at the old PDC in this market here. And let's go to the weekly, shall we? Just to give us, since we've got so much data, and we'll go full screen as well. That is it. Now, if you're not using RSI, really do, at the very minimum, with the TA indicator, use an RSI, right? Very minimum. It will tell you when something's really overbought or oversold, and it works pretty well, right? It's not perfect, but it's pretty well. And all you have to do is go indicators and then just type RSI, right? RSI. Not RSI, not those other two of those did, but RSI. So relative strength index. All you have to do is hit that, and it will pop it down the bottom there. And it's got default values that are perfectly fine. And you can kind of see whether it's overbought and oversold. Now, there's two ways of looking at it, right? You can look at the 4 hour. There's kind of the trader's view. So traders might send it up and down. So it's kind of a look there. You can see that, and you can see at the moment it's not oversold, but it's getting down there. And of course, sometimes you can use this to find support levels inside the RSI as well, that it recently holds up. Doesn't mean it's always going to hold them up, but that is just one TA indicator you can use, but definitely a good one as well. Now, on the daily, of course, you can then zoom into a daily time frame, and so you'll have a bit idea on the short-term time frame what's going to happen for the daily time frame, and where that's going as well. And you can see the RSI here on PDC is down at 48. That's just cooling off a little bit there, but it is kind of got this little uptrend going. It's keeping a little higher highs, but here we can see that we faced a bit of resistance around this 3,000 mark on PDC, right? This kind of horizontal resistance and support. So we had some support here, and we've had some resistance here, right? And now it's acting as kind of support resistance. So it's got to kind of break apart there. And it is kind of cooling down the RSI. So a good chance it's going to make another move at some stage to break up. And of course, the next level would be 00055, right? So that's kind of the play there at the moment. And here is the previous high, which is all the way up at 1300th of a penny. So there's quite a bit of upside there just to get back to the previous local high. And I suggest to you that we're on the bottom of PulseChain too, that this could really hyper rally in the future. So that's a 367% gain on the US dollars. Moving to Pulse. Pulse there, we got, a huge ratio, right? So when you get anything, you got Pulse as the main coin, right, on the chain. So anything that you want to look at the ratio, how's it performing against Pulse? Is it going to beat Pulse? This is kind of the question you're going to ask. Otherwise, you might as well hold Pulse. Or is it going to be worse than Pulse? Well, if it's going to be worse than Pulse, you don't want to hold that, right? You might as well hold Pulse. So this is kind of the basic ideas here. And here we are at 8.5. This has performed like a boss. I mean, look at this chart. Fantastic. Now, in saying that, we had quite a significant pullback. So if you had bought the top back here, we had a significant pullback to 66%. So, that's no laughing. You're down 2/3 of your portfolio. So, $300 of $100 now. Now it's currently down 61%. But man, look at where it's come from. Look at where it's come from here, and absolutely zigzag. And what's this turquoise line? This is the 1-to-1 ratio. This is where one PDC was worth one pulse. Before that, it was worth less than a pulse. But then suddenly it just rallied up here, went all the way up to 22.68 pulse. So one PDC was worth 22.68 pulse. So super successful. At the moment, one PDC is worth 8.5 pulse. So performing pretty well. One of the better performers on PulseChain without a doubt. Now, this was performing really well like PDI was, with a big community, a lot of belief. And of course, also like Teddy Bear was as well. We got a lot of support from James Maria around that. And so on. So, there's a lot of drama about that, Mr. Dong and everything else you can think of. That's just the way it goes. But at the moment, 6.5. So it could be a pretty good entry here at the moment. I think it's still got some degree of horizontal support at 6.3. That's kind of on the downside. On the upside, well, you could reasonably say, it could get back to 22 again. But the chances are in a bull market, it's probably going to hyper rally, right? So we'll probably start hitting towards 50, 60, 80. I mean, just the sky's the limit within reason. But then again, once again, the RSI will become a good indicator on longer timeframes, right? So that would be something very important to keep eye on there. So that is kind of PTC in there, and I just wanted to go through that kind of quickly. Obviously, the 9-inch token, this is coming off the bottom, if I remember rightly, but it has been rallying the last couple of weeks. This is a weekly chart for 9mm. And, of course, this was with Hexy Bastard, right, with this one. And what they have about a $16 million sacrifice raise, one of the top 5 or 6 raises and sacrifices there, including of PulseChain, PulseX. And this has really been, ratcheting up here as well on the chain. So we've come off the bottom here at 5 zeros, 1100. We're now at 5 zeros, 1633. And this thing is really moving ahead here, coming off the bottom, which is pretty cool. Lots of potential upside, right? Lots of potential upside here. Downside, obviously relative in percentages, but, down to the bottom there, what's that, about a 50%, 40, 50%, but the upside could be massive, right? So your upside is potentially very large. I mean, I don't know if it's going to get back to the original amounts, because obviously it's been emitting BBC tokens as well, but this is the primary one. That should be a 1600%, so it could be in a 17x in here. And we know that DEXs tend to do well when we get into this bull market craze, right? Which can last for quite a few months, and at the top maybe a month, right? In the rally. So the rally up there months and months and months, but then the top's about 1 month maybe. Unless we have a double top, of course. So that's kind of where we are there as well. The BBC token as well is at 1.1 cents, is pretty friendly. But this is probably the relative to liquidity. You can check out what the liquid supply is, but generally I would say riskier than the primary one. But it's relative to how much supply is out there, really. So that's kind of where we are on this one. And you can see actually we're come off the bottom as well. It's a pretty similar looking picture. Let's go to the weekly. And once again, you can add on the RSI to these as well, and that gives you a good idea of overbought and oversold. Definitely the very minimum, I think, indicator to have. The other indicators you could have are moving averages. You can have a short term, like a 9-day and a 34-day, something like that. Or you could have a longer term, which is typically good to have, a 50-day and a 200-day, and watch those cross above and beyond. And then maybe once you're going past those moving averages, you could get into a MACD, add a MACD. So there's a couple of things. And, of course, support lines, right? You could add in support lines, horizontal support lines, angular support lines. Those are some of the things that you can do just to get a better idea what's happening with the chart, and not hoping you don't buy the top of things and things like that. So that's kind of what we've got going on there. Let's see what else. We've talked about all those. Those are kind of the main ones I want to talk about. Obviously, UFOs there as well. But let's go to the pump tires. This is the main token for the pump tires. And you can see it's kind of, it hasn't outperformed or anything, but it's kind of gaining ground, isn't it? It's kind of had its sell-off. I remember there's only 1 billion of these tokens, right? And I think the majority of them are probably owned by Richard here, or whoever set this up. I'm pretty sure it was Richard. And it was at now at 12/100th of a penny. So this is really getting ready for takeoff, isn't it? This pump tires from the looks of it. If PulseChain starts to rally, I can only see this going up and away. Let's have a quick look at the holders while we're here. And let's get your thoughts in about it too. I'm going to get back to the chat in a minute. 9am and let's have a look at that. How we're doing for time? 1 hour and 12 minutes. We've got 3 minutes left. We've got about 160 people watching, so big shout out to everybody. Make sure you smash the follow button, hit the subscribe, and share the channels around. Share it on Rumble, share it on X, share it on YouTube. Really does help a lot there. And if you're from Discord, big shout out over to Discord. All right, so let's go to the holders here. It's funny how they're all called unnamed tokens often the time. Now we've got 1 billion tokens is the standard for pump tires. We've got 3,468 holders, so pretty big group of holders. So it's doing pretty well on PulseChain, relative to PulseChain. And we've got 78.35% in the main wallet there. So there we go. That's probably Richard's wallet. I'm pretty sure he's the one who set this one up. And 78.35%. Now the maximum you can get is 82% on pump tires. And that's what we talked about with Firewall, right? With the X game and the Solid X pump tire versions. He's got 82% of those, and he only had 55% of the Firewall token, his branded token. So there we are, 78.35% there. So it's actually got pretty good solid holdership, right? So yeah, bring it on. Pretty easy to probably get a decent bag of this while you can. Catch me while you can on the old pump tires. And it looks like Rackham there has backed this. So presumably, I don't know, his wallet might be this one here, number 4. It could be possibly Rackham's 11.1 of these ones here. since he's on the top list there as well, probably. All right, just some guesses there. All right, so that's kind of cool on the old pump tires. So that's kind of a bit of an overview of some of the tokens that he's got. And yeah, there's some of the ones he's been accumulating in particular there as well. And he's been reaching out to all the teams. And of course, let's see what teams have actually responded. Should we do that? Should we have a look down here? So we've got drop your own pump tires coin. And he says, the only way I would ever do this if I could prove that I never took a single dime and all the tokens and profit went to the PulseChain community. And seeing how we can't do that, I won't. I have no interest in making a token to profit off the community. If you guys want to propose something that blesses you all and not me, I'm all ears. Maybe Krath and Steve Hitson or Captain or 4 out of 5 or one of those guys will come up with an idea. I do not want to control any pool or touch any single token there. So that's a pretty good response there. Now, what else do we get from there? Yeah, you mean you don't want to pull a Matty Allen and rug your own coin? He says, yeah, I'm good. You guys can keep the tokens. There we go. And maybe come up with something. Now we have Goo God. Big shout out to Goo God. I think he's in the chat, actually. Goo God, back up here somewhere. So Goo God's around. I'm sure Goo God's in here somewhere. Sure Goo God was in here. Maybe yesterday. Google was in yesterday. And so he's pumping obviously the Alien and Inky token there and his new King token there. That's from Google. They're doing some great marketing, as I said earlier. Pretty cool there. We got Beast token, of course, one of the printed tokens out there as well, doing pretty well. Big shout out to Crypto Bro, doing a great job. Mr. Dark Horse. I love the theme of a Dark Horse, and team there is a great bunch of people. And the Crypto Bro. So if you want to join, Dark Horse community, get in there. Great bunch of people. I mean, can't go amiss. And also, Dark Horse is just fantastic. One of the top memes for sure. The animations are next level. Big shout out to Next in there. Does an amazing job. And of course, they've also got their own printer token called Chef there as well. So I think it's from the Cable King. So pretty awesome. Check that out there. We got some more. We got obviously talking about Teddy in there as well. We got Neon. Of course, we've just done a video on Neon. If you haven't checked that out, check that out. I'm going to repost that today. That is Nexion, and they're coming up with the next level of leverage farming and lending, borrowing, and lending, borrowing, and leverage up to 10x, not just on tokens LP, but also on farm LP. So that's going to be pretty cool. So tokens there going to be pretty exciting. So this protocol will flip many other projects out there. It's just a matter of time. And so definitely check out the full video. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Check that out because Nexion is going to make waves there with that product coming up. It's called Glow. The product's called Glow. Check out the video. It's in the it's on X and also on YouTube, Rumble as well. So you can check it on the channel. Watch it after the live stream if you can. Now, Emmett Farm, of course, I talked about Emmett Farm many times. This is probably the best farm on PulseChain right now, along with some of these others. We've probably got 2 or 3 that are really doing well, like Nexium. But Emmett there has done a few things very special. They've burned a lot of their tokens, and they've got an E-DAI pool, which is very clever. That reduces sell pressure. In fact, gives the chance for people to earning E-DAI and then buying more Emmett. So I think this is pretty cool. Pretty low supply, and really some of the best farm tokenomics out there, if not leading. So big shout out to Kairos there from the team. So pretty cool too. So we've got some teams there launching. Most token people are putting out there. Hex, Most, and Teddy. What else we got there? Audi, yeah, it's like a free for all, right? So once in a lifetime opportunity to get a whale to do a shout out. Hey, let me know your tokens. I might get into them. We got what's that X protocol there as well. We got Solana, XRP. We've got some of the standard ones here. PDC. We just talked about that. We got a lot of Teddy, so you can sort of see some of the ones there. Sparta coming up there. Neon again, of course. I've done a video on that. Check that out. It is a premium video, so check that out on the channel. Without a doubt, that is going to be making waves with the old Glow product about to launch there, up to 10x leverage. The only other leverage I'm aware of is on Famous at the moment, and this is very different from that. So definitely look forward to Glow from Nexion there coming. And a big shout out to the Psycho, the founder there. We've got more printed tokens in the list here. Lots of those. What else? Man, look how many people have responded though. PDI. What's this? I think making P2C and UFO stronger will help support the Pulse ecosystem, especially the core coins. That's great. And he says, Roger that, Steve Hitson and I got you. We'll see some response there. Even the controversy PRAP Bitcoin, and if you're into the idea maybe PDI or Teddy, okay, we definitely have Teddy, and of course you can be clear. I can be clear with you that I sold my PDI position, and that way I did not dip the price or hurt other holders. We definitely exited correctly, and no one even noticed. We did it right. So there we go. So he's got some Teddy as well. So I'll have to put that on that list. So that is it from Rackham Rishel. Now, Rackham Rishel's got a bit more. Now, I know I'm supposed to finish the show at an hour and 15, but we're up an hour and 20. We've got a cool crew, about 165 people watching at the moment. So we might as well wrap up with some of the highlights here from Rackham Rishel, because he's been putting out some other bullish content. And so, he's been obviously did a Twitter space yesterday. If you haven't checked that out, I definitely check that out. You'll hear from him, and he's been loving his little green Lamborghini, which I've got on the front cover of the video here. But he's been doing some X spaces on the channel. Now, I wanted to talk about his post that he did here. So let me jump back up here. He did something that I want to talk about. Let's see here. Yeah, so he put this out here. He reached out to Kraken, right? So Kraken out here, Steve Hitson, which is his front man, right, says, Kraken, always appreciate your exchange. We know that Kraken was replying to a lot of influencers, including Crypto Coffee yesterday, so it caused quite a stir on X about Kraken launching PulseChain, probably some of the key tickers. Always appreciate your exchange and accountability maintained by the founder. Now, a lot of people, we have a lot of Americans on PulseChain, and a lot of them use Coinbase. And so a lot of them would happily move to Kraken if they could, if they get supported PulseChain. He said, I've checked out the roadmap, and I think you're missing a critical layer one called PulseChain. We have a strong community and tons of amazing builders like Internet Money Wallet. What does it take to make the roadmap? We want to help make it happen. Now, they've already been teasing about it, so we don't know at what stage they're at there. They said, thank you for your response lately. Then Rackham Rishel chimed in 7 hours ago and says, Kraken, hey, you guys let Steve Hitson in, or I know the listing fee is for Kraken, so I can go ahead and make payment there. So that would be a pretty awesome thing. So big shout out to Rackham Rishel there, really looking out for the community. Big opportunity there to get that listed. Now, Kraken, as you guys know, based on CoinGecko's listing, with overall metrics, is sitting at rank number 7. And it's definitely one of the better centralized exchanges. Even though we love DeFi, if you're going to pick a centralized exchange, Kraken's definitely one of the better ones. So it looks like, hey, look, if they want payment, maybe they'll get back to them on that. He says, we can stay on chain if you want. Just give us your protocol so we can get this wrapped up and PulseChain listed. He's got Bitcoin, ETH, USDC, USDT, all payment options we can use. Thanks, guys. So he's almost had 10,000 views on that, which is pretty awesome. Might repost that, actually. Let's repost that one out. And, Internet Money says, legendary. We'll do what we can to spread the word and help facilitate anything that needs to be done from a technical standpoint. And, of course, Rackham responds to that. Thanks for letting us know. So you can see some real leadership coming out from Rackham Rishel. And it's not often you have, big whales of a chain, showing such community support and leadership. And especially, what the last couple of years have been challenging in many regards. And here we are. We're coming on the other side. I said to you guys, just the last 2 weeks in particular, obviously the SEC thing playing in, but even before that, I felt like sentiment had really started to change after we'd been through so much. So it's time to get excited, time to get out there, spread the word about PulseChain. We're getting more onboarding, right? So we had some more onboarding happen. In fact, I'm going to talk about that now because I think that's pretty important. So let's go to Hex Scout while we're here, just while I remember. And Hex Scout made a big announcement yesterday, which is massive for PulseChain. So we're talking about all the bullish stuff happening. So let's get into that too. It's worthy to have a slightly longer live stream and talk about that. So let me just scroll down here. I'm just trying to find the post. So they've obviously talked about our new block explorer coming. We've got lots more blocks, at least 2 more block explorers. But this is the post here. So this is from Hex Scout. So Hex Scout, of course, covers Hex portfolio. They are really, really amazing. And Hex Scout. And I got breaking. He says, starting next week, the pain of a paused PulseChain bridge when you're in a hurry comes to an end. Now, obviously, we've had issues with the bridge. Now, so we're not shying away with some of the issues on PulseChain. There's a lot of opportunity, but we do have some issues around the bridge. We do have, it gets shut down, especially when Guazo 5 million, etc. It's got some issues there. Gets clogged up. We also have issues with some of the quality of validators. We are getting more validators. Hopefully, that sort of fixes itself up. For some reason, we haven't had all the EIP upgrades, possibly because of second layer contagion there. That could be the issue. Yeah, but we're not getting some of the benefits there. I'm not sure what's happening there. We do know that Richard Hart and Bretep, obviously the pretty much the lead dev there, has opened up their comments for comments. So things are changing. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that space around EIPs there as well. Maybe you guys can go and ask Bretep about it on X. And then now we've got this Hex Scout happening. So we've got teams coming. And I was just talking about this like the last couple of weeks, saying, teams, we need more teams that are going to give solutions. We've got great teams. We've got great developers. We need more to get solutions, right? These are guys with the technical capability and the business now to get it done. And here we are. Just funny enough, we've got Hex Scout coming out with another good thing. We've had one thing after another. I talked about Sun Mini Meal, right? Mass onboarding from corporates into Europe, and Soil token started rallying. It's really going to be exciting to see it all play out. A mass adoption coming from there. And now we have Hex Scout coming to the party. Pretty exciting. So starting next week, the pain of a PulseChain bridge when you're in a hurry comes to an end. From then on, anyone can onboard on PulseChain in just 5 minutes. Isn't that beautiful? It's an onboarding revolution. It's called easier than ever, he says, faster than ever, more secure than ever, more unlimited than ever, no KYC barriers, PulseChain 24/7 instant onboarding. So this is another one. Now, the other one, Sun Minimeal, is doing it through their customer base, right, which is presumably going to be ginormous. They're already earning many tens of millions of dollars, as I understand it, if not hundreds of millions. And so that's huge. Now we've got this as well. That's going to make onboarding so much easier. We could have Kraken potentially. There's another form of onboarding, all seamless there. It really does start to ratchet up layer upon layer upon layer. We're talking about Richard Hart talking about forking a wallet. Obviously, we've got internet money out there. They're doing really well. The price is going up. The volumes are going up. The adoption's going up. I think it's 73,000 wallets now download internet money. So pretty exciting. Even though we lost Rabby and Debank, we've got all this cool stuff happening now. It was really exciting. So can't keep a good community down. So launching next week. This is all coming next week, folks. And this is from Hex Scout. Get excited. It's going to be global. So if you're wondering whether it qualifies for you, it's going to be global. US and EU will be supported. So if you're in the European Union, now there will be fees, of course. They start from just at 1% fees, so that there will be fees on it, but at least they're not 2.5% or 5%, hopefully. But 1%, I think people can handle that. So that's kind of it. It's had 33,000 views so far. Pretty exciting. So not bad as well. We've got plenty of people responding to that. Very cool. So that is coming up for the old PulseChain. So things are heading in the right direction, guys. One step by one step. No, we're not all going to have it tomorrow, but apparently next week we can have something. So it's pretty exciting there. So we've got our top whale leading the way. We've got Richard opening up his communications. Bretep, the dev, opening up communications. We've got cool devs like Dipcatcher building on Ethereum. It's a bit of a multi-chain approach, building a second layer protocol there with innovation. It's going to be pretty exciting. We've got tons of teams building on PulseChain. We got, 2 oracles. We had our first Oracle Fetch Oracle launch. We're going to have Signum Oracle launch. We're going to have the new downloadable DeFi trading solutions and contract interactions for Tetra coming. It's going to be beautiful. I think that's going to have its own big revolution and niche if it's used correctly. A bit like people can follow people's different templates for trading and interacting with smart contracts. Could be open up a whole new era on PulseChain and more sophisticated stuff as well, and democratize a lot of that clever stuff, right? Democratize it so a lot of people can use it. It's really cool. We've got so much stuff. Sun Mini Meal, corporate onboarding, potentially hundreds of millions of dollars. The more successful they are globally, the more that's coming onto PulseChain, and it just gets on and on and on. There's so much stuff. X game, of course, we talked about that. Could be a killer viral game. We've got Jacob building out his frontier stuff with Marfair, and of course, my favorite, the flagship PUSD ALGO, potentially the first ultimate algorithmic stablecoin with stability miners. Pretty awesome. And you can check out that. Links in the video description to that if you want to check out PUSD ALGO. Get a 90% bonus on that one. Hey, look, we're having a great time. I think it's time to wrap up now. Hour and a half, though. What a show. Let's get into the final comments. And, man, I am enjoying PulseChain. Are you guys? I hope so. And, I know that my people in my community in Discord and other places are really having a good time as well. And I think everyone can sense things are really starting to turn. We've got the Holy Grail. We've got everything lined up. It's going to be so good. Let's see. Here us. We got in here. We got Brendan says, "Lol." Yeah, I didn't understand what the WTJ means. Well, the sound really realistic. There says Don Juan. Yeah. Hey, look, I'm going to play that on the way out. We're going to play that video on the Richard Up on the way out. I hope RH comes back exactly like that. Absolutely. Get Rackham to buy FED Fed, says Grumpy. That's funny. Brendan says he's accumulating EHEX. I thought RH flooded that. The markets will decide. Hey, look, the markets will always decide. ultimately, unless you pull the LP. But then again, maybe some market provides LP. I don't know. We got EHEX is back. I said EHEX is undervalued. It's good to see that being a use case there. It's been rallying quite nicely. 1 year ago today, a dog was born on Bitcoin, says Wookie. Yeah, the old dog. I was at the anniversary for dog on Bitcoin. I'm going to have to bring that back in as well. So we were talking about that. Blair says PHUX. Yeah, that's the one thing. So I forgot that one. PHUX there. So Fiat, Fatty, and Famous, and PHUX. That's the one. Thanks, Blair. You legend. You legend. I think they're deserving of a magical twinkle. Yeah. What's the address? I'll send him a little king, says Good there. Well, you have to go check it up. Just go check out Rackham Rishel there, and you can ask him. Ask him. PulseChain, and I think they track it on Fatty Wallet actually. Good, but you might want to confirm as well. PulseChain in the house with the hearts, and nice to see Good in the house there killing it. Like I say, he's getting everywhere with this project. If you want to have a winning project, that's what you got to do. So a big shout to Good out there. Get out promoting that, does it? Because there's a lot of coins on PulseChain. You got to compete to win. Brian's in there as well. So, folks, good to see Brian, our community leader. Big shout out. Long stream today. Certainly is. I'm trying to finish it now in 30, but just the way it goes. Blair says your mic is dropping out, bud, says Blair. I appreciate that. It's buffering quite a bit, says Brian. If you paused it 20 seconds or so, it should be better. Oh, really? Okay. Thank you, Superman. Greetings from the Netherlands, says Richie. Woohoo, says Brian. Discord rocks for sure. And that is the link to Discord if you want to join up as well. Join up to Discord today. And it is a private Discord, of course. And we got a woohoo from Hexog as well. Big shout out there. We've got about 170, almost 180 people watching. Don't forget to smash the follow button, hit the subscribe button, share the channel around, check out the socials in the chat there, and become part of the community. And ultimately get into our brand new X Game portal. It's going to be the community, I hope, on the old X Game. It's going to go viral game. It's going to be massive. There are referrals as well, so you'll be able to participate in that. It is going to be absolutely huge, and I'm excited about it, and it's coming. So join up today. That is the link as well. And, of course, don't forget to share the X post around and tell your friends about it. Get into the #1 community. Now, communities are only as good as the people that go in there. So if you're awesome, make it awesome by jumping in there. That's all I can say. And join a bunch of great people in there as well. All right, so let's finish the show, I guess, with Richard Hart. Let's do it one more time. And I love this video. Big shout out to the creators. Here we go.
What's up, bitches? Richard here, a.k.a. Most Wanted, a.k.a. Most Loved, a.k.a. Sack Daddy. If you happen to not live on planet Earth, you may have not heard the latest. I fucking beat the SEC case. I want to say thank you to my supporters for never doubting me. Adding to that, I want to send a clear message to anyone who did doubt me. You will not be spared.
All right, so that's damn funny. I think we can all agree. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. It was a huge show. We covered just about everything. And a big shout out to Rackham Rishel. We appreciate what you're doing. And hopefully we're going to get him on the show and have a great interview with him and get his perspectives. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care, everybody, and bye for now. Yeah, it was a great show. It was good. All right, bye for now. See you. No, really, it's time to go. All right, see you.